Hello, and welcome to another video. Take Shelter 2011 is a psychological thriller directed by Jeff Nichols that dives into the mind of a man grappling with visions of an impending apocalypse. Curtis LaForche, a devoted husband and father, begins experiencing terrifying dreams and hallucinations of destructive storms and violent encounters. Convinced these visions may be a sign of something catastrophic, Curtis becomes obsessed with building a storm shelter to protect his family. As he spirals deeper into his fears, the line between reality and paranoia blurs, straining his relationships and testing his mental health. A powerful exploration of anxiety, trust, and survival, Take Shelter combines family drama with haunting suspense, challenging viewers to question the nature of fear itself. Curtis's ordinary life takes a dark turn. Curtis LaForche lives a quiet life with his wife Samantha and their young hearing-impaired daughter Hannah in a small Ohio town. He works a stable construction job, and though his family is of modest means, they are close-knit and supportive. But one night, Curtis begins experiencing vivid and horrifying dreams of an ominous storm that brings devastation and chaos, leaving him unsettled and afraid. As Curtis continues to have these dreams, they grow more intense and visceral. He sees dark, swirling clouds, thick rain that looks like motor oil, and violent winds tearing everything apart. His visions extend beyond his dreams, and he starts seeing ominous signs while awake. Flocks of birds moving in strange patterns, thunderstorms gathering without warning. The visions become increasingly overwhelming, leaving Curtis questioning what's real. Convinced that these visions might be warning him of an impending disaster, Curtis starts to obsess over the idea of building a storm shelter in his backyard. Though his family can't afford it, he borrows equipment and begins expanding the small shelter already on his property. Samantha, initially supportive of her husband, grows concerned as Curtis's behavior becomes more erratic. He's no longer the calm, dependable partner she once knew. Curtis's actions start to isolate him from others. His colleagues notice his distracted behavior, and his odd request for materials and tools strains his relationship with his boss. Even his friends and neighbors become wary of him, gossiping about his increasingly strange behavior. The more Curtis isolates himself, the more paranoid he becomes, struggling between his fear of being wrong and his conviction that he must protect his family at any cost. Samantha's patience begins to wear thin as Curtis's obsession with the storm shelter strains their finances and relationship. When Curtis dips into their savings without telling her to fund the shelter, Samantha confronts him, demanding an explanation. Despite his attempts to reassure her, she grows fearful that he may be experiencing a mental breakdown, and she urges him to seek help. Desperate for answers, Curtis decides to see a counselor, afraid that he might be suffering from the same mental illness that his mother struggled with in her youth. Although he agrees to counseling, he continues to work on the shelter in secret. The weight of his fear and his love for his family clash, driving him to balance therapy with his growing conviction that he is somehow forewarned of a looming catastrophe. At a community dinner, Curtis has a breakdown, publicly warning his neighbors of the storm he believes is coming. His outburst shocks everyone, leading to further alienation as people begin to avoid and ridicule him. Curtis, filled with shame and frustration, worries that he's lost his family's trust and driven away those around him. Samantha, however, chooses to stay by his side, hoping to support him through whatever he is going through. Eventually, a real storm does hit, sending the family to the shelter Curtis has so painstakingly prepared. Inside, as the storm rages, Curtis's fears reach a fever pitch. When the storm subsides, Samantha convinces him to open the door and face reality. They step outside, only to find calm and clear skies, leaving Curtis questioning his judgment. In the closing scene, however, a storm appears to form on the horizon, visible only to Curtis and Samantha, hinting that perhaps his visions were true all along. The ambiguous ending leaves viewers questioning whether Curtis's fears were justified or a manifestation of his anxieties, blurring the line between reality and premonition.